So I've been listening to you for a very long time, and I feel like my life has started to change quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I am stuck in a couple of places,
Yes.
so I'm very happy to be here.
Let's get to it.
I've heard you say, if there's something you care about and you want it to happen, you have to almost stop thinking about it. You have to let go and stop caring.
Well, if you're thinking about it not being there, then the more you think about it, the more you hold it off. And so sometimes distracting yourself from it is the best remedy, because if you no longer are pushing it away by your doubt or worry or concern that it isn't there, then because it's alive and well in your vortex, it will move to you.
Right.
It's lots of fun. Once you get on the wavelength of it, then we encourage you to think about it. But it's very wise of you to know if your thoughts about it feel like tension, then stop thinking about it. If your thoughts about it feel lovely, like something that feels good, then continue your thoughts about it. You just have to know whether your thought is causing more resistance or whether your thought is causing more allowance.
Right. So I can do that for a bit, but if it's a really big desire and want, for example, work and money.
It's interesting,
and you're
isn't
in
it?
lack of it, right? So
we understand what you're getting at. We'll walk through some things to show you what to do, because everyone can relate to some degree. But we just want to say before we do that, that your inner being doesn't distinguish bigger as less likely. In fact, the bigger a desire is, the more likely it is, because the more momentum you've put on it, the more contrast you've lived and the more momentum you put there. So it really is, contrary to what feels obvious to humans, it's easier to create big things than small things, because there's more momentum going. But it is essential that on the big things you find a way to release your resistance about them. And just the fact that it feels like, I've got this really big, really important, hardly possible thing that I really want, you get what we're talking about.
Yes. Okay. Moving right along to the next question. I've been holding off on pursuing a relationship.
Before you go there, so you said you were stuck.
Yes.
So let's get unstuck on the first subject just a little bit. So we want to show you some thoughts that you can offer that will help you be less stuck. And we want to acknowledge that it sort of seems opposite of what we said earlier, where we just want you to meditate and let your natural desires take hold. But because you're not as stuck as you think you are, we think a conversation about this to demonstrate to you that you're not as stuck as you think you are can be beneficial to you, because we can feel from you, you have the ability to focus, and you do it all the time. And so your decision to argue for your limitations seems illogical to us. So talk to us in a way that exemplifies where you are relative to this stuckness.
Great. I come from a place of great success, and all during my success I kept thinking, this can't last forever. So it didn't. And so now...
So let's stop for a moment, because you said two things, some that were helpful and some that weren't. Yes. Now, in fairness, you were setting us up for the unhelpful things by offering the helpful things. So maybe the helpful things weren't as helpful as they could have been if you weren't setting us up for the unhelpful things. Wanting to be funny often does that, and it was funny. So I come from a successful place really harmonizes with what you now want. Yes. But in that, there's that, but the success didn't last. But you come from a successful place. So were you in a successful place before you came to that successful place?
Probably, yes. Yes.
Or were you unsuccessful and then became successful and then became unsuccessful?
I was starting out. I became successful.
But before you started out, where were you? Were you successful? You didn't start out successful. You started out with nothing.
This is true.
So I was unsuccessful and then I was successful. So that could be enough of the story, unless you want to demonstrate the ebb and flow. I was unsuccessful, which made me want success. And I focused upon success and then I accomplished it. But I worried about it lasting, and so it didn't. Isn't your life just following your thoughts? And don't you have the ability to think thoughts that you want your life to follow?
Right. So
So
now
I was unsuccessful and then I was successful. Then I worried about that, and now I'm unsuccessful. But I want to be successful, and so I will again. But then I'll probably lose it again. But then I'll get successful again. But then you are influencing the cells in your body. You are influencing so much around you. You certainly can influence this through your thoughts. And if you offer enough thoughts that they morph into words, and the words feel good while you speak them, and you're not trying to entertain the world, but you're trying to align with what you really want, universal forces will assist you in the success that you're asking for. It has to be that way.
Right. So I have nothing in my heart but love for you, and I'm sitting in front of infinite intelligence, and I'm sitting here and saying, I'm hearing two things. I'm hearing your thoughts will influence what happens, but don't think about it too much.
But when we say don't think about that, you've picked up the stick called My Financial Success. And you can lean toward the success, or you can lean toward the not success. And we're saying to you that we can feel that you have the acuity, the ability to focus, that you can choose between those two. Now, if you don't think that's true, then meditate. Meditate anyway.
Every day. I meditate every day.
But don't you think that you have the ability to tell the story the way you want it to be? And so what keeps you from doing that? This is a big question. If you believe you create your own reality, and we believe you believe that, and you do it by thought, followed up with emotion that lets you know the direction of your thought, then why would anyone not do that? If you believe it works, and you know you can do it, then why would anybody not do it?
Because human beings are stupid and fearful. I mean, I'm being honest and serious. I mean,
we would tell that story in a different way. While we agree wholeheartedly with everything you said, we would tell it in a different way. It's not that you're stupid. It's that there is more momentum about what doesn't work than there is momentum about what does work. But that can change with just a little bit of deliberate thought, or by quieting your mind and letting what your inner being knows about this become the dominant vibration within you. So if you don't believe that you can muster enough focus to influence your own train of thought, do you believe that your inner being exists?
Yes.
And do you believe that your inner being is focused upon your success? And do you believe that your inner being can be the dominant vibration within you if you just relax your mind and don't think so much about it? So that's the distinction of the two ways of going about it, isn't it? In other words, on some subjects, all you have to do is tune a little bit because you know. And on other subjects, maybe you don't know quite so well, but we promise you your inner being knows. And if you'll get out of the way, your inner being will be the dominant vibrational force relative to this topic and will influence you to your own belief.
Yes, and certainly I do that, and I often catch myself wondering, how long is it going to take before it kicks in? You know, how long is it going to take before...
That's a doubtful thought. That's why meditation works better. That's what we said about listening to the air conditioner. You're not judging it. You're not evaluating its appropriateness. It's just sound in the room that's consistent. And so it gives you something to focus upon. But if you were wondering, will it stay on long enough for my meditation? Is it going to cut out on me before? You don't have to introduce resistant thoughts. But you're saying, but I'm likely to do it because that's what I do. Well, you're less likely to do it now that we've had this reasoning conversation.
Right. Okay.
Everything will follow your lead. Everything is following your lead. What you think and what you feel and what's manifesting all match. And that's because it's all following your lead. So you have two choices. You can lead it differently. You can lead it differently with your human conscious stupid mind. We're just throwing that in. You can lead with your human conscious mind, or you can get that out of the way every now and again and let your brilliant inner being lead, who knows what you want, who knows who you are, who knows where you are in relationship to what you want, and who will lead. So what you want to say is, okay, you lead, and then I'll lead. And if I'm not doing it, then you can lead, and then I'll lead. But everybody's moving toward the same thing, yes? Toward things unfolding. There's some things about you that we want to say to you that you might consciously realize and you might not. Somewhere along your path, you picked up this very strong, we can feel it in you, not only in the room, although it is in the room, but we're getting it from you in a strong way. And that is, You want to be the one who figures it out and does it. And it doesn't matter how you got that way. Maybe somebody held you to account early in your life and didn't let you get away with anything. Maybe something like that went on, but you have this sort of determination that you're going to do it. But in that is an unwillingness to relax and allow the well-being of the universe and your inner being and all of that to assist you. If we were to take that thing that we can feel within you to an extreme, it'd be like you'd go out to the parking lot and you'd get in your car, but first you'd lift the hood and you'd get under and you'd try to be some of the engine. I need to help this engine do its thing. I need to be part of the computers or the belts or something. And of course, that's not your role. Your role is to decide where you want to go, approximately when you want to be there, and to sort of make that what you focus upon. And so
true.
If we can help you know that you don't have to justify anything to anybody, and that's what's stuck in your vibrational craw. It's this, I must do this because I must receive credit because I don't feel enough credit. So I've got to get credit for this. And there's something that kind of unhappy about turning it over to your brilliant inner being. Most of you have learned to pay a price for your gain. And you believe that if there is not pain, there shouldn't be any gain. And people around you who need action from you have convinced you that you need to push through, that you need to do it the hard way. And the hard way gets stuff done. It does. But it doesn't get the big stuff done. And it isn't the way you intended to do it. And it's not the realization that you came to live and breathe and teach.
That's perfect. Thank you.